wide sky of East Africa, the rocky slopes of Mount Kenya's pinnacle peaks sweep down through the clouds to disappear into a belt of ancient forest known as the high bamboo. Closely set and interlaced, the high bamboo seems all but impenetrable, save for the drifting skeins of mountain mist. Yet there are secret meadows here and twisting game trails that tell of the hidden wildlife of this mysterious place. Here, most hidden of all, lives a creature so wary, so elusive, that men have lived their lives at the edge of his forest domain and know him only as a thing of legends and fables. This most beautiful African antelope, the bongo. These two, the last of close to 100, who had once inhabited this bamboo-ringed mountain across the valley from Mount Kenya. The bull was hardly a yearling when his father was taken. His mother had gone less than a week later. It had been a lonely time for him after that, until the day he had come upon the young cow in a clearing. From then on, they were two. The bongo's markings, so like the patterns of sunlight in the bamboo, are nearly perfect camouflage. So, for this pair, survival had meant lying up by day and coming to the edge of the forest only by night to feed. And so the seasons had passed, and after a time no man, not even the poachers, knew of their presence. Of course, that is not to say their lives have been free of danger. There were always the leopards. But the bongo is among the bravest of antelopes, and his horns are formidable weapons. The bull had come to know it was best to meet the big cats face to face. Now, just when the two were about to become three, began a time when horns and courage would be useless in the face of a new and different danger. It would be greater than any they'd ever known, even though it came about from a small beginning. The boy was called Kamau, an orphan of Kikuyu blood. He lived on the lower slopes of the mountain with his uncle Injiri, who was, by profession, a poacher. On this day, as often before, Kamau had been sent out to walk Injiri's trapline. As usual, he'd spent many hours here on the grasslands bordering the bamboo, for as an apprentice poacher, it was well that he know the habits of the giraffe, impala, the tommy, and the waterbuck. Injiri's trapline stretched upward from the plains deep into the fringes of the bamboo. Most of these sets were wire snares, meant for smallish game, duikers, monkeys, and the like. It was Kamau's job to test them and reset them. And, of course, to bring home whatever game might have been caught. Today, in the bamboo forest, there was a dik-dik. That was not bad. Habib, the buyer of illegal furs, would give as much as 3 shillings for this one. Bongo? Could they possibly be Bongo? His uncle and Jerry had said the Bongo were no longer on this mountain. Yes, they were surely Bongo, for did not the legend say they had the power to disappear at will? It was quite late, and Kamau was in a hurry, and at first eager to carry the news to his uncle. But he was learning more from Njeri than merely the art of poaching. Information such as his undoubtedly had great value, and perhaps should not be freely given, even to one's own respected uncle. So Kamau decided to reveal his secret only at a time most advantageous to himself. As it turned out, that was certainly not right now. His uncle Njeri was having one of his frequent confrontations with the game officers.
Njeri, you are a poacher.
I'm too busy touching my hat to be a poacher.
The truth is not in you.
Why would I lie to you?
This is yours, the whole village knows it.
Did I say it wasn't mine?
4 snares for poaching. You put in town 4 snares.
Most to a wife.
Everyone from here to Kilimanjaro knows you're a poacher.
A poacher?
A poacher.
No, not a poacher, but a thatcher. You see, my roof leaks. That's why I'm a thatcher. Right, Zia?
A lazy thatcher. Very lazy.
Aha. But my wife appreciates my other fine qualities.
What is this for if it is not for snares?
Mostro.
Aha. Come on, my friend. We have a problem, Kamal. This wire here.
Yes, sir.
You live with your uncle Njeri
Yes, sir.
and your aunt Zia.
Yes, sir.
So you would know of your uncle's comings and goings
Yes, sir.
and his,
Professional activities.
thank you, his professional activities.
Yes, sir.
Good. Now, what would this be for? What would our busy, hard-working, honest,
Thatcher.
thatcher like your uncle Njeri be doing with this roll of wire? How did this wire come to be in Uncle Njeri's house?
Mm,
Do you have an idea on the subject, Kamal?
yes, sir.
Well,
It's the chicken coop, sir.
chicken coop.
You see, sir? A hole. A very big hole.
All chicken coops have holes. The chicken must come and go.
Oh, no, not a chicken, sir. Our chickens stay home because of the mongoose.
Mongoose?
A very large mongoose, sir. He came in 3 nights and took 3 fat chickens. We tried to mend the hole with some sisal, but the mongoose chewed it up. Uncle Jerry didn't have enough money to buy wire. You see, sir, I had 2 shillings 50 from some money I found. And after 3 nights and 3 fat chickens, I gave Uncle Jerry enough money to buy wire. And that is why the wire was in the hut, sir.
You are as a big a liar as your uncle. He is a poacher.
Thatcher.
Yes, sir. A thatcher.
Kwaheri.
Of course, it was one thing to laugh at the authorities, but quite another to take them too lightly. So that same night, Njeri prepared to dispose of all proof of his poaching. That is, the accumulation of pelts.
Calabash. 2 very nice ones. Bushback. Habib will pay a very nice price for these. Nice, huh?
I don't know.
You've seen better, I suppose.
Many times, many times.
But these are very nice ones, though.
If you like bushbuck.
You're hiding something from me, nephew. What happened on the mountain today?
A bushbuck.
What else?
Many things. I don't know what I shall tell you.
What is it? What is it?
Please back up. Please.
What did you see on the mountain?
All right. All right. I saw a bushbuck.
In the small frontier town of Isiolo, nighttime traffic was quite likely to be game control officers who were as interested in those who bought illegal pelts as those who poached them. So tonight, the traffic was watched closely by the wife of Habib, the trader. This time, it was only the local hunting guide, Jock McEwen. Nothing unusual.
It's the white hunter.
Okay, let us see what you've got.
Three bushbuck.
3 bushbuck. 60 shillings.
Zebra.
Zebra. $100.
The monkeys.
Monkeys. 150 shillings.
Okay, Dick.
Dick. Some money.
Half a shilling.
Okay, 1 bob. That makes a total of 312 shillings. Okay?
And next time, a leopard.
For a first-class leopard, 200 shillings. That is 25 shillings more than last time. You think that is not enough, Kumar?
He saw something up in the mountain, and he won't tell me what it is.
Maybe he will tell me. Kumar?
How much for a bongo?
A what?
The biggest bongo in the world.
A bongo?
Yes, sir. A bull.
A bull?
And a cow. And the cow is going to have a calf very soon. So there will be 3.
3 bongo.
3 bongo, but why only 3?
And very beautiful, sir. I want a very high price for them. A special price.
Special price. Big horns?
Very big, sir. This big.
So big. But why only 3? Why not a herd? Why not 20?
30. How much for 30 bongo, Habib?
For 30 bongo, let me see. For so many, I shall want a discount.
You don't believe me. How much for a bongo bull? Tell me.
For a bongo bull, 300 shillings, maybe more.
You find a bongo up there, I'll give you 400.
100, 200, 20, 40, 60, 80, 310, and 312 shillings. And don't forget the leopard.
I saw him, Mr. Habib, and the cow.
What you are talking?
If you don't believe me, go up the mountain and you'll see him for yourself.
You coming?
I did see him.
Of course you did. Now let's go.
I'll go alone.
Of course, if nobody believed Kamau's story, it would seem the Bongo could continue their hidden existence. In truth, though, there would be only a short reprieve, for they would soon be sought by many hunters, among them some who were, even now, engaged in another kind of hunt far below on the valley floor. In this group of wildlife specialists were two transplanted Englishmen. First, Tony Parkinson, and then John Seago, called Bwana Chai, after his addiction to drinking tea. Alexander Michoud will be part of the Bongo story too, but today all were concerned with their continuing program, the translocation of endangered animals to the safety of national parks. In this operation, the spotting helicopter carries a veterinarian armed with rifle and tranquilizing darts. Today, the search was for rhino, which demands a large ground crew in the pursuit vehicles. Determining the proper drug dosage for an animal as large as a rhino is a tricky business. Reactions vary greatly from animal to animal, so the veterinarian also carries a plentiful supply of antidote. Today's translocation target was an exceptionally fine rhino bull of 6,000 pounds or more. Once the darting has been accomplished, the ground crew, guided by the spotting helicopter, moves into action. This critical phase of the translocation is perhaps best described by the man at the center of the activities, Tony Parkinson.
Sometimes the animal, having been shot with the tranquilizer drug, doesn't always go down and is trotting round, then we have to rope it anyway and pull it down. If the rhino charges the car, we don't let him hit it. This is terribly important because he could hurt himself. No one man captures an animal. It is entirely teamwork, and it's no good, however well I drive a motor car if Alexander doesn't put the rope on, and vice versa. If I don't drive the car well, he can't put the rope on. Once the main rope has been put over the animal's head, we take the car as far as probably 30 yards away, and we all abandon the car, get on our flat feet, and approach the rhino with lassos. Now this way we can control him, and usually Alexander and myself can get in fairly close, get hold of the tail, and then we trip him up. And because we have the initiative, it usually works very quickly. Under normal circumstances, the risk is very little, but just occasionally we might, as an example, immobilize an old animal. He's had to fight the drug, and when this happens, the likelihood of losing the animal is very possible.
All right. Let's get him over onto the pallet.
I reckon the same one moved down.
That's not a good thing, Alexander.
Had a rodeo like it's the drugs, but can't be helped. He's very lightly under.
Tony, I'm afraid he's very ill.
I don't know. I don't think a bloody thing's had it. No, volunteer. I won't hold you to bundle of whiskey just there.
I think he's been overdosed. His respiration is way off.
Where's Jerry?
Yes, I think it has.
Where the hell is he? Jerry! Yeah, let's have that. John, is he all right?
But these drugs are so
Dangerous. The margin is so fine. It's getting worse. John, get up there and try giving him hot massage. Maybe we can keep him going till Jerry gets here. Stopping this thing getting shifted. That was to hook the sod round. Fall down the thorn bush. Such a damned iffy thing, feeling the proper dose. You just don't know how I was going to react. Thanks very much. I'm afraid he's gone. Keep jumping, John. He might come back. Any good at all? That's done a beautiful. Georgie. Well, it took some digging. Where's Alexander? Yeah, he helped me with the ears. Yeah, like he did last time. How's that breathing? Don't like the look of it, Tony. Bit dodgy. Shall I cut it? He's breathing, John. Watch out. Thank God for that.
It had been too close a call, once again underlining the very real dangers of tranquilizing any animal. But that was in the past now, for the next stage was already underway, the transfer to the holding compound. Here, the rhino would be revived with a fast-acting antidote and only moved to his new habitat when his physical and mental recovery is deemed complete. This three-stage process was pioneered by Bwana Chai, John Seago. Now, after many years, he prefers to remain on the sidelines, drinking tea and counseling his young partner, Tony Parkinson. And it is with the greatest knowledge and understanding that John Seago speaks of the wildlife of Kenya.
It's a pity to have to move these rhinos, because they've lived here a long time, and they like this territory. They're like old gentlemen who like a particular club armchair. But the government is faced with an ever-increasing population, and rhinos and elephants don't go well with cultivation. The Game Department didn't want to kill them, so they commissioned us to move them into one or other of the national parks.
I got it. So that's right.
One more for the parks.
And one more the poachers won't get.
For the Bongo, the time of peace was growing very short indeed. It was true that the secret of their existence was known to only one person so far. But surely there was someone who would pay well for that information, especially since in the town of Isiolo, it was market day. Perhaps his information would even pay well enough to buy the bicycle, the one Kamau wanted more than anything else in the world. Today, as usual, he first made sure it had not yet been sold. And also, as usual, the shopkeeper quickly grew tired of him standing there cluttering up the sidewalk. But it was then that he spotted Alexander Michoud.
Jumbo, Kamau, what are you up to?
Can't I help you, Alexander?
You want the money, eh?
I'd like to talk to the Bwana.
Mama, Ndizi bei gani? Shilingi moja au ngapi?
Shilingi moja tu. I need to talk to Bwana Chai. Something very special.
I see. What kind of very special?
Well, very
special business.
Please, Alexander.
There, Kamal.
Will you tell the Bwana?
All right, Kamal. All right. But easier. Pole pole.
It was a good start. Of course, Alexander's promise was merely that, a promise. But it was enough to warrant an evening visit to the camp of Bwana Chai.
Special business? What does he mean?
Who knows? If we were dealing in poached leopard, I could understand it.
Speak of the devil.
Jumbo.
Jumbo, Kamal.
Kamal.
Jumbo?
I found a bongo, sir. The biggest bongo in the world. And his cow. And the cow is going to have a little one.
I see.
I saw him so close that I could have shot him. But I'm not a poacher.
Of course not.
I watched them, and I said to myself, Bwana Chai will want them to save them from Ndorobo, who'll kill them for meat.
Or from Uncle and Jerry, who'll poach them for shillings.
Poach them? Uncle and Jerry.
Kamal,
I can tell you where to find them, Bwana Chai.
are you sure you know what a bongo looks like?
Oh, yes.
Have you ever seen one?
No, sir, but these are bongo, with horns and white stripes. And when they reach the bamboo, poof, they disappear like they're magic.
How much?
150 shillings.
What?
Crikey.
100 shillings, a real bongo, I promise. Okay, 50. Okay, for you a special price, 25. Okay, 10. Okay, 5. And this is the last I come down.
Sorry, Kamal.
Five.
Tony, we could have afforded 5 shillings.
He's still out there. Give him the 5 shillings. And tell him I'll see him in the morning.
Right.
Actually, Tony hadn't believed a word Kamau had said. Still, such was the mysterious power of the bongo that next morning he found himself drawn to the high bamboo. Much to his surprise, he found he was not alone. Jock McEwen, the professional hunting guide. He was an old friend, and Tony knew that Jock had almost certain instincts about animals. It would be interesting to discover what instinct, if any, or what information had brought Jock McEwen to the high bamboo on this particular day.
Hello there, Tony. How are you?
Very well. Want some? Thanks. You out for a walk?
Sort of.
I thought you were up the Charanganis.
Well, the client wants a trophy buff, so I thought I'd look around a bit.
You want buffalo? There are a dozen better places than this.
Possibly. What are you doing up here, anyway?
Well, we have an order for some giant forest hog. The zoo in the States.
Giant forest hog. Giant forest hog here?
Why not?
Well, there must be a dozen better places.
Of course, each had been cheerfully lying, and each knew the other knew it. So naturally, each decided to keep an eye on the other. By unspoken agreement, they pooled their separate pretenses in a common search. The first thing they discovered was that they could stop pretending.
Selling tickets?
What one?
How much did he hit you for?
10 shillings.
I got it for half price. Where are they, Kamara?
Please, Guana. The Bongo are right down there, and just at this time.
Come on, refund.
Please, Guana. He was right.
I thought you went home with Uncle and Jerry.
No, sir. Could I go home with you, sir? Just for tonight. Tomorrow maybe you'll feel better.
No, you better face up to it. I'll take you down the hill.
A very nice bongo, isn't it?
Very.
The biggest bongo in the world.
It might be at that.
Very nice.
It's going to be interesting to see who gets him first. The White Hunter or your Uncle and Jerry.
Uncle Jerry?
Oh, yes, he would, and you know it.
Yes, sir.
It's your bongo. And you're letting him steal it from you.
Sir?
He belongs to you. And your children, and your children's children. And by the time they get here, there won't be any bongo left.
I don't understand you, sir.
One day you will, Kamara. One day you will. Good luck, Kamara.
Thank you, sir.
And remember what I told you?
Yes, sir. Kwaheri.
All right, Kwaheri.
Well, what's happened to you?
I rode down with the Bwana.
Your uncle is very upset with you.
I'm sorry.
He's inside. You better go and talk to him.
Uncle? Uncle?
I heard you. You came down with a burner.
I was afraid you'd punish me, Uncle.
Sit down. You talked about the bongo
Yes, Uncle.
and how terrible it would be to poach him. True?
Yes, sir.
To kill animals is wrong, unless you pay 1,000 shillings for a license. Then it is not wrong. Did he say that?
No, sir. He does not want the bongo to be killed by anyone.
How most unusual. Now eat.
He said that soon if the killing goes on, there'll be no more animals at all.
But you can still kill him with 1,000 shillings.
He said that if you kill him, you'll steal him from me and my children.
What a sneaky way to put it.
Sir?
Nephew, our people have lived here for 1,000 years. And all that time, they have hunted game. And now they come, the buanas, with their shillings and their pieces of paper from the game department. And they say it is all right for them to kill, to trap animals, and sell them to zoos. But for us, who have lived off the game for 1,000 years, it is a crime.
But you don't kill to eat. You kill to sell to Habib.
And with the money from Habib, I eat.
But mostly you sit.
True. And I sit too.
But when the animals are gone?
Gone? Nonsense.
But Uncle,
Eat your supper. Tomorrow, we will kill the Bongo.
It had taken a very short time for Jock McEwen to get a shooting permit, a client, and set up camp. Meanwhile, a surprisingly short distance away, in the busy downtown district of modern Nairobi, another hunt was underway. Early this morning, Tony had driven into the city and was now looking for Sam Kabuthia, Deputy Minister for Game Control, the man who issued all permits. He left a hard trail to follow, even for an experienced tracker like Tony Parkinson.
Finding a deputy minister in Nairobi on a Sunday is difficult enough, God knows. But if he's on a 2 weeks holiday, it's impossible. And my chances, even if I did find him, were very slim. Someone said he'd gone to Malindi. Someone else said he was up country. And a third view was that he was at the golf course. He wasn't at the Norfolk, or, unlikeliest place of all, at his office. He wasn't anywhere. And at last I headed back to camp with my hope of getting a permit. Gone completely.
Welcome home. And some coffee.
Thanks.
We began to wonder what had happened.
I know. I drove into Nairobi.
Any particular reason?
Pretty silly, I guess. I was looking for Sam.
Kabuthia?
He's on holiday. I couldn't get that bongo out of my head.
Bongo? What bongo?
Come off it, John. I'd give 6 months' pay to lift those animals off that peak and to pack them off to some safe place.
You can't save them all.
I had a notion Sam might give us a trapping permit.
Ridiculous.
It was worth a try.
Tony, sometimes I wonder about you. Driving all that way?
I'm sorry, John. I only wanted to save that animal. There's nothing wrong with that, is there?
While Kabuthia and I were having a chat over a beer at Manuki.
A trapping permit?
Yes. For 2 bongo. To be caught on the peak and translocated to Mount Kenya National Park.
They'll cancel McEwen's license, of course.
No such luck. We each get a crack at them, but only for 30 days.
30 days? Crikey.
So he said I will take the hindmost. It's a hunting block, and McEwen has a license, but so have we.
And Njuri doesn't need one.
rising from open plains and farmland, and with its upper slopes ringed by the high bamboo, its wildlife moated off by an elephant ditch. For the Bongo here, it seemed there could be no escape.
Look where McEwen's put his camp. The animals are trapped and he knows it. He's run them around the beat twice and they've holed up in the bamboo.
And no place to go but up.
I'm not so sure. What if they took that ridge down onto that lower slope?
A very un-Bongo thing to do. And anyway, they still have to get across the elephant ditch.
But they might try it.
I'll bet you a brandy they won't.
Well, take that, Tony, but make it a good brandy.
It wasn't a bad bet from either side. True, the Bongo rarely flees downhill. On the other hand, just below the elephant ditch, the deep trench protecting the farmlands from roving elephants and buffalo, a narrow corridor of bamboo led across the lower slope toward an ancient crater. If they reached the dense jungle there, the Bongo might well escape their pursuers. Before they would take that downhill course, though, they would have to be hard-pressed and desperate. That time would come very soon. But for now, there was still room on the mountain. Room to move, or more importantly, room to hide or to run if necessary. In his entire career as a professional hunter, Jock McEwen would never face a greater challenge. No one knew it better or can tell it better than Jock McEwen himself.
I get feelings now and then about animals. I can feel a lion crouched down in a donga long before I see him. Or a buff waiting for me in the bush. And I had this kind of a feeling about that bull. I had a feeling he was down there somewhere, laughing at me, knowing he could keep me running around the mountain like a reindeer on a carousel, until he tired me out.
Well. Hello, Jock. Still looking for the trophy buffalo?
Right. How about the forest hog?
No luck.
Pity.
Where do you think the bull will go, now that he knows we're after him?
We?
John got us a permit. I've been hoping you'd concede.
Why?
I want to pick him up and set him down on Mount Kenya. Seems the least we can do for him.
Well, he's a gallant old bull, and a smart one, too. And I'll play it fair by him. That's all I can promise you.
I guess that's all I can ask. Thanks, Jock. Good luck.
And you, Tony.
He watched them, knowing nothing of their minds or their plans, but somehow sensing that his mountain home was no longer a secret domain, no longer a place of safety. When the first fingers of evening mist had come to mantle the peak, the bull had led the way, moving around the mountainside until early dawn, and only then stopping to feed in a hidden glade deep in the forest. Soon they would move into the bamboo to lie up and await the coming of another night when they could travel again. But though they had remained out of sight, they were still on the mountain. Their pursuers knew they could not leave. Work on John Seago and Tony Parkinson's live traps called boomers was well underway by now. The licensed hunt of Jock McEwen and his client Carlin relentlessly crisscrossed the peak below the bamboo. While above, in Jerry's unlicensed hunt was already closing in. Alone, the bull would have faced any danger, any odds. But now, with a mate and a family to come, he depended on flight, leading the dogs around the shoulder of the peak, circling through the podocarpus and the cedar, then finally up into the bamboo, looking for a place to lead the chase away from his mate. One of his own deadly snares had done its work too well. Suddenly, for in Jerry, the hunt was going very badly. Now everything was in the Bongo's favor.
honest picture of a rich man's shame. It's the rich what gets the pleasure. It's the poor what gets the blame. Do you have one for me over there, Jocker?
Way ahead of you, Mr. Carlin.
Oh, good.
There we are.
Thank you. You know, I always think this is the best time of the day.
Yes.
No ice?
Oh, I'm sorry.
The day of the White Hunter is waning fast, Jockey, my boy. But you have nothing to worry about. It's a bartender's job waiting for you in my favorite London pub.
Very decent of you.
All this talk about endangered species. The bongo isn't in it compared with the White Hunter. The bongo will be around here a long, long time after the last White Hunter has joined the dodo.
You're needling me again, Mr. Carlin.
I expect I am. What luck with the bongo?
Oh, we found fresh spoor down by the salt lick.
How fresh?
6, 8 hours.
Then the sensible thing would be to build a hide beside the salt lick, wouldn't it?
Sensible, all right, but...
Well, why aren't we?
But not ethical, Mr. Carlin. It's not considered sporting to pot shoot on a salt lick, Mr. Carlin, or on a waterhole either.
So that's why you've been brooding.
I respect an animal, as any hunter does. I want to match my wits against him, but play by the rules and take him if I can.
And if you can't?
Bad luck.
I have a license to shoot one bull bongo on hunting block number 81. And I intend to.
You're not the only one, Mr. Carlin.
What do you mean by that?
Seago and Parkinson also have a license to move both animals and translocate them to Mount Kenya.
That's ridiculous.
Maybe. Parkinson asked me to give up the field. I told him I couldn't. But I did say that I would play fair by that animal, give him a sporting chance. And that's what I'm going to do, Mr. Carlin. I hope you agree.
Meanwhile, the Seago-Parkinson traps were nearing completion. Their function is best explained by Tony Parkinson himself.
There were 3 narrow game trails through the bamboo, all of them showing bongo spoor. We dug pit traps in 2 of them. This was the 3rd. Barboma, the giant funnel with its sturdy walls and camouflage. It's careful, demanding work. The bongo is shy and wary and very suspicious. And anything less than perfect is no good at all.
Tonight?
Yeah.
I hope you're right. Do you agree with him, Alexander?
If he comes past here, we will have him. Give it a try.
The following dawn found Tony and Alexander waiting near the outcropping of natural salt that attracted grazing animals, hoping for some clue to the bongo's patterns of movement. Suddenly, silently, they were here. And so was Kamau. He too had guessed the bongo might come to the salt lick this morning.
It's jumpy, Tony. We could set up a hide down there. Might shoot you with a tranquilizer gun.
No. You know how I feel about that.
Sometimes you don't have a choice.
What if we gave him too much?
He looks pretty close to 500 pounds. You can figure how much we use on Kongoni.
10 10% off and you'll kill him. Might kill him anyway. All animals are different.
You still think that you'll go up?
I bet John a brandy on it.
Our people have lived here for 1,000 years. And all that time they have hunted game. And now they come, the buanas, with their shilling.
Oh, you're out of Nigeria. It's your Bongo. And you're letting him steal it from you. He belongs to you. And your children. And your children's children.
I don't understand you, sir.
One day you will come out. One day you will.
What do you suppose?
He couldn't have missed.
Hey, wait a minute. Why didn't you shoot him?
I could not kill him, sir. What will I tell him, sir? What will I tell Uncle Jerry?
Well, as a last resort, you might try the truth.
I do not wish to lie to you, Uncle. I'm 13 years old now, almost a man, and I've done some thinking about the Bongo. And I've decided not to help you kill him. Because the Buena says there are not many Bongos left. And if we kill them all, there'll be no Bongo left for my children to see. And none for their children as well. And besides, it was not such a good bicycle anyway. The paint is new and the tires, but it is a very old bicycle. And it will break down very soon and cause a lot of trouble. And for these reasons, I've decided I'm not going to help you kill him. Or the cow. Or the calf. And because I'm almost a man, I'm standing here before you now.
Talking to somebody?
No, Uncle. Just to myself about the Bongo.
Did you see him? I hope you had better luck than I. All day I followed his trucks up the mountain, and down through the bamboo, and along an elephant trail, and up again into the meadow. The calabash monkeys were all laughing at me. You had bad luck too.
Uncle, I have something to tell you.
You saw it?
Yes, sir.
He was so close that you could reach out and touch him.
No, sir.
But he raised his ears and looked at you with his big brown eyes, and you had no heart for killing. So you let him go. You see, I read your mind.
Yes, sir.
What happened?
I don't know, Uncle.
Come on. Did you have any luck? Did you see his trucks by the salt lick?
Yes, sir.
But you didn't see him.
Uncle?
Well, did you or didn't you?
I saw him, Uncle.
And you shot at him?
I shot at him, sir, and I missed. I frightened him, and he ran away. I'm sorry, Uncle. I'm a very bad poacher.
Well, how close?
Very close, sir.
Too bad.
I have missed too, many times.
That's one of the troubles with life. It's full of misses.
I feel very bad, sir.
You'll have another chance. What we must do tomorrow is set snares in every truck, every small truck in the bamboo. And we'll be waiting. When he comes, this time we won't miss. Won't that make you happy?
Yes, sir.
Here, across the wide valley from Mount Kenya, uneasiness hung heavy in the air. The bongo had become even more alert, more wary. Now they fed at random hours and for shorter periods, moving ever upward, the bull sensing that safety lay only on the meadowlands above the bamboo. But to move through the bamboo meant using the game trails, and of course, like the others, Jog McEwen knew that and meant to take advantage of it. As he tells it,
I was getting bushed. Up before daylight, 4 mornings in a row, circling the peak, straining our eyes for spoor. We picked them up at a dozen spots around the mountain, but always too late. They were like ghosts.
of course, with enough study, even a ghost's behavior can eventually be predicted. And Jock felt sure that he had finally found the bongo's point of vulnerability. If all the signs had been right, if they really were headed for the peak, they would have to pass this spot, and rather soon now.
And game trail down there. You'll be out in the open, in the clearing. Right. Get ready.
As Tony Parkinson had said, heading downhill was a very un-bongo thing to do. But for the bull, it seemed the only thing. And it would have been successful, except for Kamau. In search of small game, he had been prowling the corridor of bamboo along the elephant ditch, and quite by chance happened on the one spot where its sides had collapsed, forming a bridge. It was an escape route for the Bongo. There was only one place they could go now, to the crater beyond. Kamau realized he was, once again, the only person with knowledge of where the Bongo were. But to reveal it to his uncle Injeri, or to conceal it, would be a difficult decision. And he faced it just a little later, as Injeri fashioned the poacher's monkey paw snare and spoke of the Bongo and the other hunters.
They may catch a duiker, a bushback, or an impala, not a bongo. Know why? Know why, Kamau?
Yes, Uncle. Because the Bongo are not there.
Very good. Where are they then?
They are not at the salt lake.
You saw them?
Yes.
On the other side of the mountain. You see, to kill a bongo, you have to think like a bongo. And if you think like a bongo, you'll say, the trapper, the white hunter, and that hyena-head Tanjiri are looking for me at the salt lake. So it's time to move to the other side of the mountain. And that's why you saw them there, isn't it?
Yes, Uncle.
So you have learned to think like a bongo. Very good, Kamau.
Yes, Uncle.
Where are you going?
I'll be back.
Lying to his uncle, no, not lying really, just not telling the truth, was not to Kamau's liking. Besides, Injeri was very good at his business. Even without help, he would probably track down the Bongo before long. Unless, of course, their location was revealed to others. Feeling himself to be a very bad nephew, he waited near the trail that led to the camp of Tony Parkinson and Bwana Chai.
Sir?
What is it, Kamau?
I've seen them, sir. The Bongo, they've left the mountain. I saw them, sir. I saw them. Cross the elephant ditch and go down into the crater.
When?
This morning, sir. The buffalo have a way to cross the ditch. I'll show you.
Let's have a look. Kitty, there, the rest of you go on to camp.
No sign of them here.
The buff spore must have covered it. That is, if they ever came this way.
It's true, sir. I saw them.
Look here. You'll get your brandy.
Remy Martin.
I didn't mind paying John his brandy. It was worth 100 times that to have the Bongo here. In this giant soup plate of solid bush, with plenty of cover, loaded with game, and every head of it dependent on its single source of water.
Over there, sir. In the crater.
Trapping them in there is going to be very difficult. We're going to have to build a bigger boma. Here. A big one like this. Longer wings like this. We'll put John's hide here, on the left. All right, John? Then my hide will be on the other side, here. We'll put you inside, Alex, to trip the gate they come in. Okay? We got cracking on the boma straight away, while another crew filled the pit traps we'd worked so hard to dig. Can't go leaving them for animals to fall into. We couldn't fence off the water, of course, but we could build our boma, the giant funnel with its sturdy walls and camouflage, in the line of flight, so that when the moment came, the bongo would instinctively run into it. This involved some animal psychology. I tried to place the boma where a bongo would run in a moment of panic. By 6 o'clock, just a half hour before sunset, the boma was ready. And I looked around for Kamau, who was more or less responsible for all this, to thank him. But he had disappeared.
Unwilling to face his uncle Njeri until he found the words to say what had to be said, Kamau had spent a long day alone with his thoughts. But what he had to confess, he discovered late that evening, would be the least of Njeri's problems for some time to come.
Officer, you know we can't just leave my camp without putting out the fire. What would the forest officer think of me?
Look, we want no more delays. We have your snares, we have your wire, so come on now. Let's go.
You know you are making a mistake, officer.
All right, Jerry.
I'm sorry for you, officer. To drag an innocent man all the way down the mountain and into the magistrate's court. It will be very embarrassing for you. You'll be the laughing stock of Nanyuki.
That is one of the sad things about my job. Every day, a new embarrassment. Let's go.
Kamau knew full well his uncle would not spend more than 2 or 3 days in jail, as usual, but still, this was very sad. Now there was only one person he could turn to, Tony Parkinson, waiting by the waterhole in the crater. For Tony, too, this was a troubled time. He had brought the rifle and the tranquilizing darts as a backup. But now he faced a growing fear of the drug and its unpredictable effect. Of course, the trap, too, was uncertain, but at least it was safe.
They've arrested Uncle and Jerry.
I know. I sent them up there. I'm sorry. Nothing else I could do. Do you understand, Kamau?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's keep an eye out for the bull. Looks like being a long night.
We'd found their spoor around the water, so they had drunk last night, or early this morning, but probably not since. That's 15 hours at the very least. So they were out there somewhere, waiting, bothered by the strange contraption that had mysteriously appeared beside the waterhole, and by the man's scent on the night breeze. Didn't seem to bother the rest of the game. But the bongo has a mind of his own. The bull had explored the crater floor and knew this was the only water. Otherwise, they wouldn't be here.
You'll be back.
Not a chance in the world. He'll never go into that boma.
So use the dog.
I hate the thought of it.
But there's no other way.
I'd rather lose him than kill him with an overdose.
Well, it's either a dart or Carlin's bullet. But at least we have her.
No, that's not enough. We must get that bull.
The activity in the crater had, of course, not gone unnoticed. By mid-morning the next day, aided by a tracker, Carlin knew exactly what was going on. At last, he'd found the way to get around Jock McEwen's annoying sportsmanship and take matters into his own hands.
Over there on the edge, at 3 o'clock. Bull's probably hiding in that bush on the right there, waiting for his chance to come out. Yes. You think he will come out?
The vigil had continued throughout the day and into the small hours of the second night. By now it seemed quite probable that the bull had returned to the peak, to the high bamboo. Here in the crater, he would have been without water for nearly 48 hours. It was not likely.
Tony. I'm afraid we've lost him.
You want to give it up?
Well, we can't sit here forever.
The cow keeps calling. I thought maybe he was out there.
He isn't. He'd have made a move long before this. He's back on the beak, if you ask me. If you think he's worth it, we can have another crack at him up there.
I hate to quit. He must be awfully thirsty by now, if he's still around.
You're a patient man, Tony. All right.
Yes, Tony was patient, but not too far away another man was not. Carlin had now determined to finish the hunt in his own way. It was not the sporting way, of course, but the cow was the perfect decoy. If the bull was remaining near his mate, Carlin would find him. In the first light of sunup, Kamau was returning home feeling sad and very sorry. Because of him, bad things had happened. Uncle Njeri was in jail in Nanyuki. The bull was back on the peak, where Carlin would surely find him. And it was all his fault. He who had discovered the Bongo and told of them for a ridiculous few shillings.
Too late, Jocko! afraid you missed.
Okay, Colin. I'll buy you that drink now.
No, thank you. Well, I need a drink.
Yes, yes. No, let's go and open that bottle of good brandy. Come on, come on.
Of course, for Kamau, there would be no brandy, but a brand new bicycle most certainly.
You can't just pick a wild animal out of the bush and put him in a crate and take him to his new home. You must get him used to enclosures and finally crates, and then move him, and then reverse the process, getting him used to open spaces again. So it was several weeks before we opened the gates of the holding pen on Mount Kenya.
Why didn't you open the gate, Kamau? They're your Bongo.
Me, sir?
You, sir.
Oh, thank you, sir. Come on, Juma. Come on, baby. Come on. Come on, baby. Come on, Juma. Come on, baby. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on, Juma. Come on, baby.
And so that was the end of it. Or the beginning, really. In the national park, these two would bear their young, and protected from licensed hunter and poacher alike, the Bongo would continue to multiply and thrive in the hidden meadows and secret places of the forest here on the slopes of Mount Kenya.